Not sure what that thing was, but we can go ahead and get started, I think. So it's 7:05. We have a quorum. I'll call the meeting to order. I had the agenda. Where is it? Here it is. So Janet will not be able to make it tonight, I know. But Karen sent out minutes yesterday, and unfortunately, I did not get a chance to read them. Did anyone else? I understand that Janet read them and thought they were fine as written.
I did not have a chance to read them.
Sorry, they were sent out kind of late.
Maybe what we should do then is just postpone the approval of these minutes till our next meeting. So we'll do that. And hey, Michael.
Hey.
Before we go any further, I just want to apologize for the mix-up on the URL for the Zoom meeting. That was my mistake. Okay, next. I want to give an update on a few different things that, hey, Sharon, welcome.
I made it.
Want to give an update on a few things that have come up. So the first is that there are a couple of residents at Newbury Court who are interested in looking at potentially installing heat pumps there. This is a long ways off, but it's an interesting situation because they're obviously they're a major participant in the energy market in Concord. So hopefully over time they can make some progress on it. I know Brad has been in touch with them, and we'll have to all see where that goes, but it's an interesting development, and I just wanted to let people become aware of it.
Brad, I just responded to your email. Oops. That's how interesting I am. As soon as they start talking, we get up and walks away.
It didn't bulb itself.
There
That's
he
what that
is.
sound was. I didn't know what that sound.
Did the inquiry from Newbury Court come through their management, or did it come through the committee?
It came from Bobby and Claire.
Oh, Bobby. Okay, Bobby.
And so I gave them some homework to do, which is they're going to need to get a big fraction of people at Newbury Court to be interested in this in order for the management to be at all interested, I think.
Right. That's a big deal. There also, apparently, there's a gas line that goes right, it goes right under their building.
So Brad,
Okay.
I had responded to your email
Ah.
that you sent a couple of weeks ago. Sorry for not getting back to you sooner. But I'm wondering if it might make sense, or if it would hurt to just have an analysis, have a study done on the feasibility for that. It's free of charge, so it's hard to argue with the price. If you can go through National Grid and or CMLP for that.
I didn't know about what National Grid offered.
I think with the new Mass Save rebates, CMLP would direct them to National Grid. And if they're eligible, I mean, they would be eligible for rebates, and the rebates from National Grid are very
This is
high.
This is not a rebate thing. This is a big building.
Yeah, but I
so
think their commercial entity rebates also expanded to cover Concord entities, whereas before they didn't cover
Okay.
that.
Right, you'd still get energy. I mean, this is a classic energy, classic fuel switching application for National Grid under the new 3-year plan. So this will be over 50 tons because it's such a large building. So it would fall into what's called the custom approach, and that requires an engineer's evaluation. So, if there's interest, it's easy enough, and the investor-owned utilities are more than eager to claim savings for things like this. So
Okay. Now,
uh,
who provides the engineer?
so National Grid has a suite of engineers they'll use
Okay.
that have expertise in this, and with the new 3-year plan, under the new fuel switching paradigm, the gas provider takes the lead on
Okay, very
these.
good.
So I think Amanda's right, and that CMLP would just give the nod to National Grid on this. So,
Right.
it'd be a nice project. You're right, it'd be complicated because it's like a hotel that's divided up into numerous rooms, and you have to have cartridges in every single
Cool.
room.
Let's talk about it.
It's been
We
done.
still,
It's been- yeah.
we still haven't had lunch yet, Michael. So I think we should talk about this.
Okay.
Well,
Brad-
there's interest.
And Brad, what's your point?
The point is,
Let's get it moving, man.
let's get it moving. Yeah.
I'd be
Brad-
interested in being a part of that. My parents are living over there.
So I just want to set the stage here. This is very, very early, and in speaking with Brad, we're putting the cart before the horse a bit. So I wasn't expecting or intending a detailed conversation. It was more of I wanted to make people aware. I mean, this has been a good conversation, but I don't know that we need to continue in the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Well,
Can
let me
I
just-
ask
wanna-
one yes/no question?
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Okay, well, I'll
Yeah,
ask Brad
okay.
via email then.
No, go ahead.
They had an energy audit done, and I just wondered, Brad, if Bobby had sent that to you, and if not, I can forward it to you if you are interested.
I am not sure that I'm interested, but
Okay.
maybe it'll be interesting. I'm happy to look at it.
So,
Michael?
Jerry, before we close out the topic, I just, so this is where I try to distinguish between the CSEC providing a gentle nudge for something that could be a nice project and look good for CSEC, as opposed to waiting for it to come to us. From an IOU's perspective, National Grid, if I told National Grid about this, someone would be out there in a heartbeat, just trying to get the project, done. So
That would be
So-
premature.
Yeah, I think I'm certainly not close enough to the project, and the only one here who is Brad. And what I understand to be the case is these are early discussions.
Right.
So there's, homework to be done sort of politically to set the stage for this. I'm not intending to slow anything down. I'm just, I think that's where
Yeah.
things are.
yeah.
Okay.
No, that's fair enough. I'm just if we could influence the discussion, and I'm just wondering what role we play
Yeah.
in that, and National Grid.
Well, yeah. So at the moment, I'm not sure. I'd have to think about that and probably go over it with Amanda and the rest of you. But I'm intrigued by the project, and that's why I'm mentioning it. But I think we all stand ready when Brad or others there sort of lay the groundwork for how to go about this whole thing. Okay. Next up for my update is I'm really going to defer to Amanda here. There's several projects. I don't know what you call them, Amanda. The transportation issues meeting, the building code advocacy, and the municipal fleet electrification study. Do you want to brief the group on each of those?
So the select board does meetings that are deep dives into specific topics. And one of the deep dives coming up is related to transportation. And usually when they do a deep dive, to my understanding, they invite different committees and organizations that have an interest in that or an overlap with the topic area. And so there's one coming up related to transportation, and because that's part of our climate action plan, there may be an interest for someone attending that, and or everyone to attend it if you're interested. It wouldn't need, it's very optional, so attend based on your interest, or maybe there could be a CSEC liaison to go and maybe report back. So that's one opportunity. And then the other is to comment on or sign a letter related to comments on the building stretch code or building energy code. And DOER has updated their stretch code and also provided a new specialized stretch code. I think many people believed that it would be a net zero energy code based on the direction given to DOER from the state legislature. And the code isn't, this specialized code isn't a net zero code. And that would be one regulatory avenue if the home rule petition was not approved for Concord to be able to opt into a mechanism to require new construction to be net zero. And so if you're interested in signing on to that, I sent around a toolkit where you can, the level of effort to participate varies. You can just fill out a Google form to sign a letter. And then it also provides instructions for further steps if you want to go beyond that. And at the town level, town manager LaFleur and I have signed a letter as well. It is a separate letter than to the one that I sent, but it was specific to appointed or elected officials or town staff, and it wasn't nicely set up like this MCAN toolkit one was, and that one was quite easy to send and had various degrees of participation, so it felt like a good, better option to send than the other letter.
Was there an explanation of why the home rule thing was rejected?
So it's currently not rejected. It's just sitting in committee, and it does feel like there's a push to have a statewide solution rather than a community by community solution. And it feels as though the home rule petitions are still in the mix because they are making sure that statewide solution actually progresses. And then if it doesn't, the home rule petitions are still there. So it's still alive, but I think the statewide solutions are getting more attention at the moment.
Yeah, because Brookline got their thing rejected again, right, by Haley.
Yeah, and I don't think it was their home rule petition. I think they had passed a bylaw and were operating under that.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And do you want to mention the municipal fleet, Amanda?
That's another optional, if interested, document. Our municipal fleet electrification study draft had been completed, and I had a few people interested in reviewing the draft. And so I thought I would just send it out to both CAB and CSEC to comment on if you would like. It is in a pretty draft form. I have quite a few comments on my version to send back. So that would be my only caveat, is if you do read through, this is my first time reading it, and the senior management team is just reading through it now as well. So feel free to take a look if you're interested, but also not a mandatory or big ask, especially I know that there's going to be a big push for finalizing all the series details. And so, that might be the priority. But
So email that you sent me, Amanda, was that sent to everyone on the committee? Do they already have these details? I can't remember.
for the fleet study,
Well, for each of the three, the fleet study, the building code advocacy, and the transportation issues, so that I want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to dig into it if they want to.
yeah, I definitely sent the fleet study and the stretch code, but I may have just sent the transportation.
Yeah, so
select board
actually-
meeting to you.
That one, I was going to say might be the most important one for the committee, but I'm not, I shouldn't make that judgment. But it's coming up on Monday, this coming Monday night, right? No, it's 2 Mondays.
Yeah,
Does anyone want to sign up to represent CSEC on that meeting?
This is the
Okay.
fleet electrification.
That one would
What
be a
is it?
review of the material. I'm asking about the transportation meeting that's coming up this on Monday, the 14th. Transportation study meeting for the town. Okay, well, I'll see if I can attend. Not sure. On a related note, CMLP next week, next Wednesday morning, having their their monthly meeting, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to attend. This one looks to be a particularly interesting meeting because they're going to discuss their strategic plan. At least that's on the agenda. That's the big item on the agenda. So is there anyone who could sit in for me if I cannot make that meeting? Michael?
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah.
That's it. Okay,
What is the date?
great. It's 3/9 next, I believe that's next Wednesday, 6:30 a.m. over Zoom.
Do you have a link to that, Jerry? Did you get an invite?
I'd not get an invite, but I can send you a link to it.
Okay.
Let me make a note to myself here. Okay. Thanks for that. So I kind of jumped ahead a little bit into your director's update, Amanda. I don't have any more from the chair. Do you have anything else you want to relate?
no, I was just going to talk about those opportunities. So sounds good.
Okay, great. Well, thanks. There's lots of stuff going on, obviously. All right. So next up, Hanny.
One quick question. Is the CMLP meeting in the morning or is it in the evening?
It's morning meeting,
It's at 7:30?
AM. Yeah.
And can you send me the Zoom for that too, the link?
Yeah. Okay. All right, Hanny, you want to show us what you got? You're on mute. On mute.
Here we go. So there are 2 ways we can do that. I can show you the site the way it is, or I also on our drive, I send another run with all the edits of screenshots of the site. So that's 2 ways of doing it, either or. But I can share. Let me share my site and then I can show you.
Yeah. I think it might be,
Here we go.
might be good to go through the site. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Here we go. Okay, so this is the test site. I haven't published anything yet. Okay. I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to review their respective events and make sure everything is correct. I have a few questions I think we need to clarify, but I'll go through it. So essentially, one goes to the events page, and the events page will display all of the events that we have. So I have now all updated graphics here. The Arbor Day one, the Climate Festival one is there. So each event has sort of its own little graphic. And on the main page, the events page here, from where you can navigate to each event, there's only the title and the date. And then if you want to RSVP, or if you want to get more details, you go to the more detailed portion of the event. That makes sense? So I'll scroll down. Amanda, I have a question here about how we want to play the 29th and 30th, because it's a little bit confusing. Okay. We can discuss it offline, because this is a 30th event. I think this is at the library, the Cooler
Yes.
Concord Festival, right? And then in your new text, Amanda, you mentioned here, we can go into details afterwards when we go to that specific event. You mentioned the Bruce Freeman Trail, and then the next day come to the library. So I'm not sure how we would reflect that here, other than maybe in the detailed page. Maybe that's the only way to do that. Okay. Doug, you indicated these two events switched around, 11th
Yeah,
and 25th,
yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So I reflected that. And then the last one is the EV charging event, which was a 2 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. That seems like an odd time.
Yes,
It is?
that's a Saturday.
Okay,
Yeah, June 4th is a Saturday.
okay.
That's why the time is different.
All right, okay, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, so then we can go into the details page. So let's see, here is the main page detailed. And there are links to all of the events from that main landing page for the details on the Cooler Concord Sustainability Series. The time frame is 27th through the 30th, and then from here you can go to each one. Again, the same question to clarify over here, Amanda, the Arbor Day celebration. Okay. Cooler Concord Climate Festival. I'm debating whether we should try and keep these all to one line as opposed to wrapping around, and maybe just say, hey, Concord Main Library, that's everyone would know where it is. So I don't think we need to put the street address in my mind. Right?
Yeah.
Any
I-
objections to that?
well, there's two
No.
libraries, so they could be. mixed
Concord,
up.
Maine. This is Concord Main Library, not right. I
Yeah.
think, I mean, in my mind, that's pretty clear, but maybe, I don't know. I'm asking a question.
Well, I was going to say, I like keeping everything on one line. And I think to my mind, your suggestions for shortening the text where needed make sense.
You know, and like, this will be hard to do, right? Because, I mean, we
Well,
can
you
say
could-
this is at the editorium in the details section, in the content page. Brad, what are your thoughts
Sure.
on trying to correct those things?
I think you could leave out the word community, Harvey Wheeler Center is probably,
Okay,
Harvey
Harvey
Wheeler
Wheeler, okay, fair
Building.
enough, good, yep, okay.
Well, also, the auditorium is just a refinement of Harvey Wheeler. So
right, it could be later.
if people just showed up, they'd figure out where this was pretty quickly.
Yep.
So either way, you can remove either community or auditorium as you choose.
Okay. I can link here that will make my tabs a little messy, but let's do that. What the heck? Can test it. Okay. Oh, that messed up my thing. I can't go backwards, right, Brad?
Yeah. I think so.
I don't think in the QA, if you go backward, it goes to the main site. I can't, let me see here if I have this here still. Oh, I can do it this way. That's fine. That's good. I can do it. Yeah. Okay, so this is the Carrie Emanuel event, the keynote speaker. The date April 27th, 7 to 9. The venue, okay, I'll figure out. I mean, this question here I have is how we're going to be reflecting auditorium and Zoom. I thought I would put it here. We should also probably put it, it's referred to it in here as well. And eventually, when people register, we'll have their email address and we'll need to communicate the Zoom link for that.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Maybe go back to this here and I go back to this one and I go to Arbor Day. It's a good way to test all the links so that at least they work. Okay, now this reflects your new text, Amanda, all the stuff that you send. And then the question here I want to clarify is, do you want to put a venue here? Is it really the Bruce Freeman Trail, the main venue for this? Is that where it is?
Yeah, so we can, I think there's two options here. One is we just put the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail parking lot, and I think we probably do need to put the address with that one.
Yeah.
And then I think if it's not clear that the Cooler Concord Climate Festival is also not at the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail parking lot, we can be more direct about that in the last paragraph. I think the second option would be we could create a seedling giveaway event on its own, but I think we're trying to use the seedlings as a draw to come to the events. And so if you know that you can just pick up a seedling at the library and not come to an event, we sort of lose that grab.
No, I think I agree with you. I think we should highlight the Bruce Freeman Trail, and we mentioned the seedling, and so happens that the next day at the climate celebration is also a seedling giveaway, right? So
yeah.
And I just saw a typo here. I put Bruce Freeman train, not trail.
Yeah. I saw that too.
Hey, yeah, okay.
Take the
I'll
Bruce
correct
Freeman
that.
train. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
And the word after it, attend.
Are you going to put in the address
Yep.
after? Yeah.
Yep. I'll put the Bruce Freeman Trail address as well there.
yeah, thank you. Because I'm like, it's a trail. It has lots of addresses.
Yep.
Where exactly is the place that it's going to be held on the trail?
It's like 407 Commonwealth, or maybe I'm getting those numbers mixed up, but
Is it the parking across from the prison?
Yeah.
Okay. Near Warner's Pond.
I think, Hanny, we can also just make it April 29th.
Is that where they just built the overpass over Route 2?
It's
No.
near there.
No, that's in Acton.
No, it's right on the Rotary, right across from the prison.
Yeah, just south of the Rotary.
It's probably a good way to describe it. I don't typically think of a trail like that with an address, but I suppose if you're going to put it into Google Maps, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, and I think there's a charge point charger there. And so if you use the charge point charger's address, that's what I did to grab the address that I put in there, Hanny. So it should work, and it should take people to, because there's also the trail parking lot and there's the prison parking lot. And we want people to come to the trail lot.
Okay, I'll connect with you on that later on. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
What time to what time you want to do it on the 29th, 9 to?
So I think, let me bring up the page here, but I think we decided it would start at 10.
Okay, all right, so that's good. I can. $10 to $12.
I think just 10 to 11. I don't
10
think
to
it'll
11,
last too long.
Okay. All right, so I made the typo corrections. I'll connect with you, Amanda, on the address and what we want to put there exactly.
Okay.
All right. Okay, let me go back to here. Again, main page, third event, Cooler Concord Festival. This has a new graphic. This has the date, which is the 30th, 10 to 2 for what for the text that I got. The location, again, I probably will simplify this and make it Concord Main Library front lawn. And then I wanted to indicate, actually, Brad, maybe I need a trick there, how to avoid the Concord Mass after. I try to reuse some of the fields, but I can, I think MA for Mass comes automatically. I cannot avoid that. Little trick, I don't know. I was trying to figure out how to play around with the fields that you have there.
I guess you could just call it main library if it's gonna say.
I could call it main
Concord at the end
library
anyway.
and then on front lawn main library and then put the rain date. I think it's important to put it right there just in case, right? So people can see that. I can take out Concord, but I cannot take out MA. You're on mute, Brad.
Brad, you're on mute.
I'll try to figure out a way. It's no disaster the way it is, certainly, but
No, it's not, but you know, just but I think this text is here pretty straightforward. I didn't see anything that had any questions or not.
Let me, Rennie, I mean, Henny, let me just check one thing.
Yep.
Today in meeting with Laura, she said she had updated her
Well, she doesn't have
on-
access to the Google Drive, so she must have emailed it somewhere. I didn't get anything.
She put in some links. So
In
let's
where?
see. So I had established the folder and I'd moved a file of hers in, well, was it of hers or not? I forget if it was a link or a file, but at any rate, she's got several files there. And on the handout, the abstract reads,
Oh, Laura's
see if this is,
links. She said
Yeah.
she put it in so that there was a link there.
yeah. So Hanny, here's how it reads. Join neighbors and friends for a day of fun, education, and entertainment, celebrating how each of us has the power to help stop climate change. The Cooler Concord Climate Festival will feature art, food, information, and activities for children, youth, and adults.
Yep.
Learn, connect, celebrate, and take action. Gather inspiration for practical climate, et cetera, et cetera. So does that, I
This is what I
can't
have.
see your,
That's what I have.
okay, so it sounds like you're up to date. Yeah, you looks
Yeah,
like
I-
you're up to date.
I
Okay.
think so. I think so, yeah.
So I think if we are gonna start promoting, I don't know if we want to just leave the venue as to be determined since we don't actually have permission yet.
Okay.
Unless
Oh.
there was an update in the meeting.
Yeah, I
today,
can
'cause
give
wasn't
you-
there.
I can give you a little update on that. So Doug and I met with Laura today and Rennie Cunningham. And Rennie reported back on the consideration by the trustees of the request to hold this on the lawn. By and large, they were positive. There's still some open questions that they're figuring out, but it looks quite good. So as I'm talking, I don't recall if Rennie told us when we could have a final answer, but I think it's pretty soon. Doug, do you recall?
She's gonna know by probably tomorrow, I think, or the day after.
Yeah, so we should be able to replace the TBD hopefully in just a couple or few days.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well-
I think for now, probably put it in the library and then if we
We
find
can-
out
I mean-
otherwise, we'll change it.
I think we need, I'd like everyone to go and review each event after this, before we say final go, and then we can push it
Right.
out. Right? And will give us a few more days and we'll finalize a bunch of stuff.
Agreed.
Next event is, we saw the climate festival. Next event is heating and cooling with electric heat pump. I think you reviewed that, Doug, right? And the only change that I saw from you was the change of the date.
This is, I reviewed it, but this is Sharon's event, I think.
Oh, okay.
And as far as the text of this goes, I think it's pretty good.
I'm just looking at it now. I was gonna ask about the link.
You can review it. There is a slideshow on the Google Drive. Copy, it's version 2. It has a copy of every one of these pages. And you can, because I think, Doug, if I, sorry, Brad, if I share the test flight link, can everyone see that without having to have a sign up?
You mean to share the link with the sandbox
Yes.
URL?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they can see that.
Okay, then I can do that too. I can share it with everyone and they can have access to the test site.
Just don't put it in any published.
No. Well,
Material.
no. I'm not publishing anything. I'm just sharing the test site, right?
Yeah.
And this way they can see how it, as opposed to a screenshot, they'll see how the site is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So is this the oh no, I've got it open, I can't see what is it Cooler Concord Sustainability Series?
Yep.
Okay, and then when I open it, it looks like a printout of slideshow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
what I did, because I wasn't sure if everyone had access to the test site, I did screenshot with a slideshow of each one of the pages.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. I'll read it more carefully, but
The date of the slideshow is 3/3, so the date of today. There are 2 slideshows, 1/3/1 and 1/3/3.
oh, can I see the one I have open says March 2nd, so that's yesterday. And
The
then
date of the
there's
first
one
page,
copy of,
March 1st. Here, I'll show you. So there's one here and there is one here, right? There are 2 of them.
right, okay, so that one says copy of.
Copy of 3/3
Okay.
2022 version 2.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
that's the
yep,
one. All right.
all right, so that's the other one, okay.
Okay. Next one is your sustainable home now. That's on the 25th.
One of the questions that I had talked to Jerry about, we wanted to know whether it would be possible to put into this 2 links that would go, one to the actual brochure itself that was created, that's on the Concord website. And the other thing was, we're developing a page of links that are relevant to the presentation, and potentially having that link here too, so that people could get that in advance.
Well, okay, so 2 comments.
This may not be the appropriate place for it. That's the only thing.
No, the only thing is that I think we can put the link to the brochure, right, Brad? I think that should be feasible. I just need to know exactly what the URL for that link is, or tell me where it is on the website, right?
If you go to, if you go to the Concord, can you go to the Concord website and look up
Sure.
Home of the Future now, Sustainable Home of the Future?
Hanny, I can work with that. I can work with you on that. I can put that on our list of stuff
Good.
to,
Okay. Fine, let's do that. Let's do that. It's right. Okay, I agree. Then the second comment I have, Doug, is that if you have future things, that's like, I mean, once we publish this, we can update it when you have something, but if we don't know the link, then we cannot put it in, right?
If you go to the,
Well, so let me just interject. So I know the file you're thinking of, Doug.
yeah.
I think that's more appropriate done during or after the event,
Okay.
because there's a lot of it's at a different, it's a text file. It's not all that interesting. Whereas the pamphlet is an interesting thing
Right.
and directly applicable. So also I'd like to keep this page
Clean.
relatively simple.
Okay. No, I think that's good.
Okay. Okay, so that actually then the last one is the EV charging one.
So
There
the
was no
title
change.
is, so
Sorry.
somehow we didn't get the title propagated.
Say it again.
Let me check
I
what,
thought we were gonna have the name more generic than just charging, like just EV
Yeah.
something or electric vehicles or.
yeah, we closed on EV display and charging tips open house.
Okay. Let me do that here. What do you want to do? EV?
EV display and charging tips
Right?
open house.
All right. Fine, I can save this. Yep, here we go. Okay, EV display and charging tips open house. Okay.
Great.
And then it will display here.
so Hanny, it sounds like, we'll send out the test site. People can do a final read through.
Yeah.
Do you want everyone to send comments to you via email? Do you want them to comment on the
No,
PowerPoint?
email is better. Email is
Okay.
better.
Yeah.
This will have, everyone will have their own email with their own comments on the event. I think this is much easier to finalize.
Okay.
Well, and will we be able to copy the text? Because what I can get to right now, I can only copy it as a picture, so I have to
I
like
will give you
retype.
I will send to everyone the link to the test site, and from there you
Okay.
can copy the text. Okay.
Okay.
And if you want to edit it, okay. Then you don't need to go back to the slideshow.
And then
Right.
Hanny, do you want them by a certain date? Like, do you want them by the end of day Sunday?
I can, yeah, I mean, look, I can, not too busy this weekend, so I have time this weekend. Next week is, Monday is okay. After that, it's gonna get a little bit crazy.
So
So
sounds
if
like-
you get if you get all your comments, preferably, end of day Saturday, so I'll finish it up Sunday and I'll send you back a link so you can review it one final time.
Makes sense.
Okay?
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Amanda, I can connect with you tomorrow afternoon if you'd like. All right?
Yeah, I can send you an email too, and then just let me know if it makes sense or not.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? If you want to, this second close, this second close. Yep. Okay. All right.
Hanny, a question I have is if we ever want to get the mail list that it gets generated from this on the back end, is there a
Yep.
way to get it?
Brad?
Yes. A list of email addresses, yes.
Yeah. Is that all you'll have is the email addresses
And names.
and names? Okay.
In order to RSVP, people need to put an email address. They need
Right.
to sign up to the site, basically, and put an email address. And that's how we get their name and email address.
Right.
And I guess for the, not I guess, but for the first event, the keynote, we need their email address to send them the Zoom link if
Correct.
they're going to
Right.
connect through
Right.
Zoom.
Yeah, I can't demonstrate this because I'm already signed up. I would have to sign out and then, right?
If you've already signed up for one, does it tell you that you've been already signed in?
It will show here what the current state of your response to the site is.
Yeah.
Okay, you have options that says interested, going, not going. So if you said I'm going, it will say this way I'm going because it will remember that it's you and you said you were going.
Yeah. So select that.
I mean, I can do that here,
Yeah.
right? Okay, let me close this. I'll close everything, right? So let me, actually, let me go to another here. I'll go back to the side. And this was the last event, right?
Yeah.
Here. It said I'm going. Okay.
Great.
I wonder if there'll be any potential confusion with having to sign up for each individual one if anybody wanted to sign up for the series.
You cannot sign up for the series.
Okay.
I don't believe so. I don't think I put that, I made that option available. Let's double check that. That's a good one. Yeah, there's no RSVP here for the series.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the landing page is there? No, the landing page is one level up from this current page.
Well, the landing page is no, there's a Cool Concord website, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool Concord, you eventually end up here, then you go to events. And then this is sort of the whole series, and then each event have their own little page. There is no nesting, right? So you can't hide these events behind the main page. This is
Right.
the main page.
So
Right.
this, when you say main page, this is the main landing page.
Landing page for the Concord Sustainability Series, yes.
Perfect,
Right.
perfect. Yeah.
And then each one has a link to each one of, that page has a link to each one of these events.
Yeah, so there's sort of pseudo nesting with that
Yes,
arrangement.
exactly, yes. You can go directly to the event or via that landing page.
Perfect.
So when you go via the landing page, you get the RSVP button once you go into the next level, right?
Correct, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
That's pretty intuitive.
Yeah, I think it's looking great.
Okay,
Great.
good. So I'll do the cosmetic changes. I'll send everyone the link. Send me your comments by end of day Saturday, and I'll make the adjustments and everything. And then we'll do one final review before we push it out.
Wonderful. Hanny, thanks so much. Great
Okay.
stuff here.
All right.
Looks great, Hanny.
Okay. The next item on the agenda, which we may have covered most of already, is really to review the individual events and the series, and whether we've got everything we need for it. And really, right now, the main thing is to ensure that the materials that Henny is using are up to date. And so he's just set up a process for that. So I don't know if we need to go through these in too much detail, but we can. But I'll start by reporting on a meeting today that I referenced this earlier, that Doug and I were in with Laura from Mothers Out Front. So she's organizing the climate festival, and she's reporting that there is a tremendous interest in this. She said the high school students are all over it, and that different organizations are excited about it and want to participate. Now, I recognize Laura is she's a force to be reckoned with herself, but I think there's a lot behind this, and I was getting excited just listening to her talk about this. Great discussion with Rennie Cunningham. She, as I commented earlier, she'd already spoken with the trustees of the library. I guess you have to get their approval to have a party on their lawn. And they were generally very supportive. They did raise one issue, and I was surprised that they're willing, this wasn't a showstopper for them. They raised the issue of the potential condition of the lawn in late April, that it could be pretty soft, pseudo mud season. You don't know, it could be solid. There could be snow, a few days before. But if I heard this right, the library is willing to go with it anyway. And if the lawn needs some work afterwards, they'll spring for it. So
Also, they're not going to require a permit necessarily that they usually require, because they think of this as a partnership, not as a use.
Yeah. Right. So I thought it was just tremendously encouraging. Did I leave out anything, Doug?
There was going to be a food truck, maybe they talked about that idea, and or possibly some other food. There's a question of electricity there for a demonstration of an oven or a hot plate that uses what do you
Induction
call it?
cooking.
Induction cooking. I think that it was good to have Laura there to create a very positive attitude about how this was going to be handled in front of the library, because okay, here's another piece that they don't have any volunteer help. All the volunteer help has to come from us or from the mothers organization. Right. And Laura sounded like she had more than enough people to help, but the table situation, people are going to, this is going to have to be treated like it was a, what was the analogy she used?
Ag Day.
Ag Day, yeah. Each group that represents something is going to have to bring their own supplies. They're going to get a square on the lawn, and we don't have any tables to provide them with. So that's a little bit of an issue.
Right. Laura didn't seem to be too concerned about that, though.
No.
And I think some of the high schools.
I think my attitude about her approach, which is interesting, is it's like we build it and they will come. And as opposed to figuring out all the details on the upfront, she thinks that those details can be kind of filled in, and the people like the high school students that are participating can bring in what they want to bring in, and it doesn't have to be too regulated up front. and it'll fall into place as we get closer and closer to the event. It remains to be seen, but we'll see how it goes. There's a lot of enthusiasm for it, though, clearly.
Yeah. Brad?
Was there any discussion about if it was bigger than the lawn, having Emerson and Umbrella involved?
Not exactly. There was some discussion of Emerson Umbrella participating, and they're interested, but are a little concerned that they will have spent all their energy the previous week on, Musketequid Day. So that remains to be seen a little bit. But I know that the Emerson folks are generally very supportive of this. So now there was also a discussion of a rain date, which is the following Saturday, which is non-optimal, but there don't appear to be any other reasonable choices. Not optimal for two reasons. One is it's the day before Mother's Day. Secondly, I don't know who this woman is she referenced, but there's a scout leader who's taking, it sounds like a bunch of scouts.
Emily,
out.
she's the head of the library.
Oh, okay. So the head of the library won't be there because she's taking a bunch of scouts out somewhere. So at any rate, the good news is there was a direct discussion of the rain date. There is a backup plan. It's not a perfect backup plan, but there is a backup plan.
An alternative could be, instead of a rain date, a rain location.
A question that I had, Jerry, that I wasn't sure about, it's really not totally complete, was Emerson Umbrella had offered us the use of their email list. And in the same fashion that the series card got put into the
CMLP.
In the CMLP, could we send an email to the contact person at Emerson Umbrella of the card, so that that card could be sent out to their mail list?
Okay, so good question. I'll answer it directly, and then that'll be a nice segue into talking about promotion status and what we need to do there. So about a couple of weeks ago, Brad organized a meeting with the director of arts I forget her title, Madeline Miller, I think, at Emerson Umbrella. Anyway, a meeting with her and several other folks to talk about promotional support. The other folks, listen, there was League of Women Voters there, and was Concord Union Church, and I forget who else, but basically another situation where it was very positive. They want to help. And the way that I believe they would do it and want to do it is that if we provide them materials to send out, they'll send it out to their email list. I really don't expect anyone to share their email list with us, but I think they will use that channel for us, for the purposes of this series. And again, they were very, very supportive in general. So actually, to that end, let me share just a moment here. A spreadsheet that I put together based off of data from a number of sources. Oh, you can't see it yet. Let me share that just a second. Okay, so I've compiled the list. Actually, I've stolen from a number of sources, to be quite honest about it. But I think this is pretty complete. There, a bunch of different groups with contact names and contact emails. I've got about roughly about 80 of these here. You can see. And then I've started filling it in some cases where I have a good idea of what they could do for us, whether they can send out a mention in an email newsletter, or they might put something on their bulletin boards physically, et cetera. But I think where we need to go with this, and those of you who've been through this before, please comment. I'm looking at you, Karen, and Brad and Sharon, and Doug. What I'm thinking, we need to kind of divvy this up, and each of us reach out to a number of these groups, and with the basic message of, we're putting on this series. We sure appreciate your support in promoting it for us, and we will send you a media package for you to make it easy for you to send out your email blasts or your Facebook postings, et cetera.
So Jerry, we're thinking we're going to have one email that covers all of the events. We're not going to send 6 different emails to each of these people.
I think the intent was to do one.
And then I think we need a subset somebody needs to come up with and then proof what it is we want to say. And then that text, once it's finalized, can be farmed out to the handful of people who are willing to copy and paste a bunch of, emails. Send out a bunch of emails and copy and paste the text.
So I'm planning to produce that email template that basically says, here's our series, with a little bit of detail, when it is, why it's important, blah, blah, blah. Here's how, here's what we're looking for. Here's our ask. And here's what we can help you with to fulfill that. So I want to make it easy for everyone, because that's a standard, an easily standardized message. Should be.
I'm imagining that what we'd do is, if we were in communication with one of the lead places in the groups, what we'd ask them to do is to make a copy of that series card and somehow distribute it to their email list. And I would imagine that maybe, I don't know, maybe you'd include the briefs, the one-page briefs about each of the series.
Yeah, so I was thinking that the media package would include all those things. And that a potential target, like, I don't know, I'll just pick one. I'm just looking here. Let's say it's the Fenn School, just to say one. So I'm imagining that when they get the media package, they'll see that they could just send out that graphic, or they could cut and paste a message that we had written, a short message. And also we provide them with a longer description, so that if they want, they can sort of have it their way. Which reminds me, did I show everyone the graphic that Amanda sent to CMLP? Maybe not. Let me do that,
so.
just so get everyone on the same page here. All right, so how do I stop sharing here? I don't remember.
The view options.
View options in.
Oh no, this is for me. Sorry.
Green button on top of the screen.
Green button on top of this.
No, that's only displayed on the people who are viewing his screen.
Here, Jerry, why don't I'll start sharing and that will stop sharing yours.
Okay. It's embarrassing, but at least I'm in a friendly group.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
so I can get back to.
Okay. So here, I'll share the graphic. Oh, it says you're still sharing, so
Is there a share screen button, Jerry, on the bottom of your screen?
yeah, there is now.
What happens when you click that? Does
Yeah,
it
yeah.
remove-
So I'm,
'cause
oh, I see. Yeah, it
That's
is on
going to be
bottom.
the insert. Is that going to be the insert, Amanda? That's cool.
Yep, this is the insert.
Okay, great. Oh, forgot one big thing. We didn't talk about mentioning the sponsors on any of the events.
Oh, right. So, yeah, you can see we've got a number of sponsors here.
So the simple question, Amanda, do you want me to reflect what is on this flyer here on the website?
Yeah, I think so. I just sent you edits for the sub landing page, if you will. And now that I'm thinking about, I wondered that too, rather than listing the locations on that main page, should we list the co-hosts instead? Because if people are going to follow the link, they maybe don't need the address because they'll see it when they go to that main page.
Okay, so if this is available on the G Drive, then I will figure out a way of making it on the landing page of each one of the events. Under location, I'll put that. Yeah, I don't know how I'll do that. I need to think it through. I'll figure out.
Is it possible to have a subtitle? Sort of the
No.
way it's shown
There's a
here?
one-line description, and then everything else is in the text.
Okay.
I think even if that doesn't work, Hanny, I think it would be fine to just put it make sure that we have it in the description, and maybe we could bold it if that's possible. Like at the bottom, it could say co-hosted
I was
with.
thinking at the bottom of the sort of the main text, then have I think I can bold basically the sponsors. I think I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's make sure this is on the G Drive, on the shared drive, and I can
Yeah,
pick it up.
it's
Okay.
there right now,
Okay.
Annie.
All right,
It's
good.
it's a PDF file, Cooler Concord poster final underbar 3.2.
Okay.
Is it in the sustainability series folder, or is it in the meeting minutes?
It's in the sustainability series folder.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it right here. Okay.
Okay. I think this looks great. Amanda's did a fabulous job with this.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me stop sharing now that I found out how to do that. And where do I want to go back to? Where was I? Here we go. Okay, so this list is a lot longer than I expected it would be when I started on it. So some of these may or may not be appropriate or fertile, but I think we've got a good list. We've got contact info, and so as Sharon was suggesting, I'll prepare a template that I'll share with everyone, and then I'll ask each of you to send out to contact about 10 of these each. There's a total roughly of 80. Let's see. Yeah, it's less than, it's probably 75. So if we each take 9 or 10, we can knock this out without much difficulty. So what I was thinking of doing is, after the meeting, I still have a little more work to do on this. After the meeting, once I get this settled down, as I said, I'll I'll prepare a draft template, and then I'll just assign 10 of these to each of you. If there's some of them that you particularly want to contact yourself, that, or you have some relationship there, let me know, the next couple days, and I'll make sure that's in your set of 10 to send out.
Does anyone have contact with either the editor or some journalists at the Concord Journal?
That's a great question. They're actually listed here at the very bottom. I used to. I don't know if the editor is still the same one.
No.
Is
But-
this,
No, it's not.
is this list in the same folder?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Um,
And I mean, it's sad to say because this is my ex-employer, so Gannett. And
Oh.
I know they screwed up a whole bunch of things and they went to regional models for editors and stuff like that, so.
Well, what I was thinking in terms of Concord Journal, I forget who mentioned it to me, but someone commented that they're not reporting on anything coming up these days. All they do is report on stuff that's happened. So what I was thinking of doing here is we could send them a note before Carrie Emanuel's address about, the whole Cool Concord series, heads up, here's a thing that's happening in town, a big thing, lots of stuff going on with it. And then after his address, send them another note and say, hey, there was a great presentation from Carrie Emanuel. People in town are interested in this, and see if they'll bite. Maybe they'll write about that. I mean, I hate to say it, but based on what's been in there lately, they haven't written about much. So having a distinguished scientist speak in town for them ought to be a major event.
Yeah, well, you need to give them about 4 weeks, 3 weeks lead time. If you want to
Okay.
have, if you haven't a chance to get something up front.
Okay, that's great. Great feedback, Hanny.
Well, and there's
Make a
also the
note.
calendar section.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, there is a calendar section, but past experience, my wife did that a lot. And if you write the article for them and send it to them, it's probably your best chance.
Yeah,
typically.
right.
that's my impression as well.
Well, we can do that.
We have enough material to write,
Yeah, we could write a book for
an
them.
article, send it to them and send them the flyer and, and it's all ready. I mean, for them, if you give it
Right.
enough time, they should be able to fit it in if they wanted to.
Yeah. Okay, that's an important note.
Jerry, I saw the name for the municipal contacts and I've pretty much reached out to all of them already except Ginger. And so if you just, when you're assigning them, I've already sent Erin the poster and I think she's gonna publish it, but I'll double check. And I had talked to Delia about the conservation coffee list, and so I'll swing back with her when we're ready. And Jan has it, Rennie's involved. So the only one that I haven't talked to is Ginger, and actually I have to go over there next week anyway. So I can just talk to her too. So I think for the municipal ones, just go ahead and count on me for those.
Okay, I've got you down for those. So does anyone know who a contact at the BD Center would be?
I can do BD too. I know Andy over
Okay.
there.
Okay, and you said you will do Ginger or?
Yep.
Okay. And then someone at the town hall for posting on the bulletin board?
Yeah, so I can just do that too, or ask Erin, because you just drop it off at the clerk's office and they'll look at
Okay.
it and post it.
Right. Well, then,
And then Anita's also in Harvey Wheeler, so when I'm over there, I can swing by
Okay.
her office too.
all right, great. Well, then that's a natural fit for you for most of those. And
Yeah.
so you've got your section there. Perfect.
Jerry, I
Um,
can't see it all that well, but is the business group on there that we presented to, or the Chamber of
Ah.
Commerce?
No, it's not.
Well, and I remember Jan said he had a very long list of contacts that we sent out emails to
Yeah,
last fall.
this is,
Might also check with her. I was looking to see if I had a copy of that. I don't see.
well,
that I
that's
do.
where,
Is that where a lot of it came from?
yeah, that's who I
Okay.
stole this from.
Okay.
Not 100%, but a lot of it. But at any rate, my, that's a
Oh,
good
Jerry,
point.
I don't know if it's
I don't
my
think-
connection or
let me
yours,
put
but you're
it in.
cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's probably my connection. Is this any better?
Yes.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Okay, let me insert here. So what was the name of that Concord Business Partnership?
Concord Business Council or something like that. I can.
No,
check
it's
on that.
you were right, Jerry. It's Concord Business Partnership.
And there were, who was the main contact there?
Her name's Jennifer. I just emailed her today, actually. Let me.
So while you're looking for that, Sharon, so I
Clark.
noticed in Jan's, I'm sorry, Amanda, what was that?
It's Clark, Jennifer Clark, Clarke.
Okay. I can fill that in later. I must have her email address somewhere too. Sharon, so when I was looking at Jan's file, your name was down for quite a few items. So when you say you emailed them, were those emails, where did they originate? Did they come from CMLP or from you, or who actually sent the emails out, I guess is my question.
So I think there were a number of us that volunteered, and I think I sent it from my personal email to people. She gave whatever 15 or I don't remember how many number of people, and so I put in the email address that Jan gave me, and
You had a template like
hi, Polly or whatever the name was, and pasted in text.
got it.
Call Janicetti for more information. But
Okay.
Jerry, I
So
guess my
it's
question.
kind of
My question on that is, are we sending them an email saying in a few weeks, we will be sending you a toolkit?
that's what I'm
Or
thinking.
would you let us know if you would like us to send you a toolkit? Or are we just going to wait and send them the toolkit in that first email?
Well, what I was thinking, this is a good question. What I was thinking is we would send them a note in the next week to 10 days or so that says, hi, want to let you know this event we're planning, and we're hoping you can support us, with communications, and we will be sending you a toolkit in another, I have to look at the exact schedule, another week or two, something like that. I did not think about asking them if it's okay to send it to them, but I'm open to suggestions. Sharon, do you remember how what the protocol was that you and Jan used in that regard?
I had the impression that she had permission to send, because we weren't sending, again, like you're saying, we're sending it to the person that manages the list for that group. And then
Right.
they could decide exactly what to do with it, to pass it on or not, or in what form.
Well, the person this contact person may not be the person that's in control of their email list, and they may have to forward the message to them.
Possibly.
It's possible.
It strikes me that if we had sent the card in this initial email and then we sent it again as in the more formal kit, just the card itself would allow them to see the schedule of and what the event names were. And that might be all they need, you know?
So Doug, you're suggesting effectively in this email
Initial
template,
thing.
include a paste in the graphic so they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was I'm just looking at my
Yeah.
like sent history to see if I can find some of these. And so there was a, yeah, it had a graphic of like the world on fire, and the text. It looked not that different from like, say, a bill insert.
Mhm. Okay.
So it had that thing, which, you know, like the bill insert thing you could, you know, picture. So I've just pulled up one of my sent items. It's like, well, this was to my local neighborhood. Hello, neighbors. As your local member of the Concord Sustainable Energy Committee, I'm reaching out to inform and invite you to a climate-friendly home and vehicle workshop being hosted by CMLP Monday, September 13th. And then the next paragraph is check out community sessions on home heating and cooling and electric vehicles, and gives the date and the location, date, time, location, and a link.
Okay, so it sounds like this was a single email. It wasn't, hey, we're going to be doing this and we will be sending you a media kit.
No, we sent it. It was both it was both in the body of an email and as an attachment. The same information was given to them twice, but in the same email. So, you know, depending on if they wanted to, you know, copy and paste a paragraph or take the whole picture, it was they had both available. But we didn't say we're going to be telling you about this and then tell them more about it later. It was one shot.
I think one shot would be better. And then if you have to send a second follow-up in mid-April, just as a particular reminder, it'll be the same thing.
Okay. We could do it that way.
I just don't want it to get too confusing.
Yeah, and I can see that. I think.
Yeah, well, and with there being so many of them, you know, it might be maybe in the first one we say we'll send, you know, because if we're going to send this, you know, early and then one of the events isn't until June, you know, maybe it makes sense to send another one later. I'm not sure.
Well, I think.
Or just a reminder, follow up. These haven't happened yet.
Multiple emails, I don't think is necessarily a problem. I think it's a good thing.
I would just send the same template twice and then indicate in the email part of it when you send it to them, these events are coming up. We wanted to make sure that you were integrating this into your newsletter information to distribute. Please consider distributing it.
That sounds good to me. I mean, if you can remember that, send me that description. I like the way you phrase that. But okay, let me just summarize what I think I'm hearing from everybody. And that is the first email we send out should have the graphic pasted into it, and the media kit should be attached. We should not say, hey, we should not have one email that says, hey, the media kit is coming, and then another email with the media kit.
Right.
So we'll just send out one email with the graphic inserted and the media kit, and then possibly a reminder later or a refresher later.
Just
Okay.
resend the email if there's no response.
Yeah.
Even if there's response, it'll probably get done. It strikes me that some of these organizations, based on what they're doing, you know, I can see them putting information into their own newsletters about it, but they'll decide on what level of participation they're going to have or not.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's why I think the toolkit will be important because it'll have different items that they could cut and paste based on, you know, how much they wanted to describe.
Okay.
Actually, Amanda, I saw something from you. I don't know, the last couple of days, I'm kind of forgetting. Is it here? Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about what you, about some of the promotional items, where things are at with the A-frames, with what you're suggesting for the media kit, et
Sure.
cetera?
Yeah, so all of these are in the main series page. And so I'll share my screen and show you the list that I have together. So there are a few things that we have talked about in previous meetings that we can either follow up on or decide that we don't want to do that anymore. And so the things that are still to be worked out, and some of them we've already talked about, like contacting the Concord Journal or writing something for them to put into the paper. If anyone is interested in that, maybe just let Jerry and I know. And then at one point there was a talk about lawn signs. Again, I think we would need a plan for that and to make sure that we had a distribution plan and we could cover the costs within the budget that we've said. And I think that one is a bit trickier because I think the costs could be high and I just don't know that we will have the funding. And then the other one is like a poster, like a hard copy poster distribution plan. Because I can print them in my office, like on a just regular printer paper, but if we don't have a plan for getting them around town, then, you know, we don't want to print more than we need to, I guess.
Amanda, in the past, when we've done this, we just made a list of the places that we were going to post these in town. And then we made a list of, we divided them up and some of us just went and posted them in those places. Like at Dunkin' Donuts or at the train station or at the library or, you know, different places.
I think I still have that list somewhere too.
Oh, that, can you send that out?
Sure.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking the same thing, Doug.
So I think if someone feels called to organize that, let Jerry and I know. But I just have listed here other things that we're planning to do and who will be helping with that. So the social media posts from the sustainability division, the sustainability division newsletter, the bill insert, A-frames, which Jerry and I have been working on and Aaron will help out with. And then this promotional toolkit, which this really just describes the toolkit. And then if you go into our main series page, click promotional toolkit, this is the link that we could share with partners. And when you open that, you can see that there's a Twitter sized image, there's a Facebook sized image, and then there's the final poster that we showed earlier tonight. And then if you click on this promotional toolkit, which is this page, it's not done yet, but it basically describes like what the toolkit is, and thanks people for using it. And then it has for social media content, it gives them 2 posts if they'd like to make their own post, but also there will be a link to a post from my page, the sustainability page, that they can just share, which in the past I know has been an easy way for people to be involved, and it's also good in the social media algorithms to get more attention if more people share a post than just an individual posting on their own page. And then for the newsletter content, we would provide like a short description that people could use. Again, they could use the images, the posters, and then this is really just an optional thing we could add is who else is involved in this, and that could be a way of saying two things. Is one, like, you're not alone. A lot of people are in this. We've contacted a lot of people, be a part of this larger movement. And I think second fold is probably going to save us from people saying, oh, you should send this to whoever, because they can see that we've already sent it to a lot of groups. So this needs a little bit of work, but it's got a good base, and this would be the toolkit, and then it would be backed up with the images that are in that same folder.
What's your target date for sending out the toolkit?
So I think it depends. It sounds like we'll have the descriptions done soon. So once that's done, really, we can put this in here. Jerry, I think I would look to you to say when this is final and if we want to put in the other allies here. But really, if we're happy with this format, the only thing we really have to add is this description. And if it's good to go, then it's ready to send.
Is it unreasonable to think that we might be able to have divvied up the list and sent out the initial email before the 17th meeting so that we could recap it in the 17th meeting? Or is that too soon? Maybe we want to do it in.
I'm thinking that we might want to do it shortly after the 17th meeting. 17th meeting basically is our next meeting in 2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah.
Because that's, I'm looking at the 17th as being, okay, is everything ready to go promotionally? And sort of like Hanny was doing here today with the websites, is let's all check and make sure we're all aligned, our I's are dotted, our T's are crossed, and then send it out. I think sending it out sooner than later is probably a good thing. I mean, I don't think we want to send it out too early to sort of prevent some of these folks from maybe not feeling an urgency. But on the other hand, the bill inserts start appearing March 20th, or at least that's the ship date, as I understand it from CMLP. So I think we want it to go out no later than about that time. So I guess as I'm talking, the 20th is only 3 days after the 17th. So maybe we target, right after the 17th, a day or two after that, assuming everything's good, then, because that then aligns with the bill insert and things start to propagate through the town all about the same time.
Like the 18th or 19th.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Again, I'm looking to hear critiques from those of you who've been through this before. I'm a rookie at this.
Sounds like a great plan. A lot more organized than we were last time around.
Well, thank you. That's encouraging, because I think, for the landscaping fair, I thought that went off beautifully. So
Well, what I'm just trying to think is, in an effort to save you a lot of hassle about divvying up this list, there are some names that I saw on the list that I would be happy to coordinate with. But do you want to go through the list quickly and
Sure.
identify who wants to do which ones?
Sure.
Maybe
Let
you
me,
can make it very simple and just divvy it out.
All right. Let me share it. Okay. Doug, you want to?
But
Tell me.
the ones that I was thinking of are Concord Academy and Fen. And Mothers Out Front, which we're already in communication with. That doesn't really mean the toolkit has to get sent to Laura. And Concord Land Trust,
Yeah.
the Emerson Umbrella. but maybe you've already got enough.
I
contact. You've been
can, I
doing,
can do Mother's.
okay, you do the Emerson umbrella. And the 2 Boy Scout troops. Another question that I had is, are these garden centers like the Hugh Cargill Community Garden and the
So I'm just, all
Cousin-
right, I'm not seeing. I don't know anything about them. These were there from Janicetti.
Karen, a question that I have that came up when we were talking to Laura Davis is she needed there's going to be a table that is relating to sustainable gardening. Potentially, who would be some points of contact for them to engage with, to get some presence there for something like that? Do you have any?
Is she looking for commercial folks or town folks or?
Probably town groups.
I mean, I know Delia's done a ton of stuff with native plantings, but
would you help me? Can I follow up with you on that?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I
I
mean,
just
I know
don't know, all these lists of garden related things, there's like 4 or 5 of them that are on the list, but I have no idea about any of them, but what would they do?
I'm imagining that they've got an email list and they would send out a notice,
Okay.
email notice, or include something in a standard newsletter that they might have.
Okay. Well, I might take 2 of the garden ones then.
Okay, so,
Karen, do you want to take the other garden ones?
Sure.
okay, you have to tell me where they are. I'm a little lost. Oh, here we go.
I am too.
Sorry.
I'll take the top
Yeah.
2. The Hugh Cargill and Cousins Community Garden, but I don't know anything about them at all.
In East Quarter,
Then you'll
East
learn.
Quarter Farms is community garden. So, I mean, I'm a member there. I mean, there may be 20 people there at most.
Yeah, so are the cousins.
Do they have Penny, do they have a newsletter?
There's no newsletter or anything. It's just, I mean, there's just an email. That's a list.
Okay,
I can
leave
take
that
care of
empty.
that. I can take care of that. Put me in. I'll take care of it.
okay. And this one, the Rogers Community Garden, that would be Karen.
Sure.
There's
get
also
all the garden?
Pardon?
Go ahead, Doug.
There's a Silver Hill Association, which is a neighborhood association that I'll be happy to send an email into. If I can't, I got to find out whether they allow it, but if they do, I can.
All right, I'll insert them here.
It's the Silver Hill Association.
I'll take not what I wanted to do. Where is that? Oh, I know what that was.
Haney,
Okay.
did you say you'd take the?
Anyone else want to sign up for any of these?
Haney, did you say you could do the East Quarter Farm Community?
Yeah. I'm a member there, so I can take care of that.
Yeah, so we've got Handy down for that.
Jerry, I'd take any of the other environmental groups that that don't have assignments yet.
All right, let's find them up here. I thought they were
Further up.
farther up.
No, after the
I thought I saw it. Oh, I guess
after
not.
the religious group section.
Oh, after religious groups, yeah.
Jerry, how does this
there.
interact with the climate series list of folks? Do we reach out to these individually, or do we need to reach out to them since you've already contacted? I mean, we obviously need to send them the toolkit, but are we doing that as like a group email or individual emails to each organization that are in that?
Well, actually, so I was going to ask Brad for some guidance on this. Let me find, I have them listed here somewhere. Hang on a second. Maybe I had them under environmental groups. Civic groups, environmental groups. No, faith groups, I think. Here. So, Brad, my impression was Polly kind of sort of represented this group, and that she would she'd be the interface to us, you know, for material to send out. Is that a fair understanding? Oh, I think Brad has left. Okay, so I guess Amanda, to your question, I'm not exactly sure what the right thing to do here is. So what I ended up doing is just, you know, making sure that they're listed here. And I had not met Polly before, but my impression was she was either the leader of that speaker series or heavily involved, and that she could represent them. Or I shouldn't say represent, she would be our contact into them. Okay. All right, well,
So Doug, you can put me on, I guess, the social groups or whatever's. And I think you want column K as your volunteer.
yeah, I see that now. I'll fix that later.
You can fix that.
So did I have
Jerry,
separate?
you can put me on cleanup, Jerry, if there, I'm sure there's some stragglers here that haven't been
Okay.
covered, so I have no preference really.
Okay, so Sharon, this is the group here?
Sure. It's fine.
Yep.
I don't have any contacts, but
Right, well, you'll make new friends.
exactly.
Okay, Michael, I'll fit you in as needed.
Is Newbury Court on there?
Oh,
I have a contact with Bobby, and I know a lot about the situation over there. So Mike, if you wanted to touch base with me or have a short call with me, Bobby's the head of, there's kind of a club over there that's a environmental club, and she's the head of it. And they're working with the management there to encourage more participation in sustainability initiatives. And I don't think it's worked up to the management level yet, but I know Bobby. We gave a presentation of the Sustainable Home of the Future Now over there about a year ago. That was one of the places we were going to do it, at least. And it was
Okay.
done on a Zoom basis at the time.
Yeah, that's fine. My mother-in-law is over there also, and she's on a couple of committees there. She's pretty active.
Oh, what's your
So, yeah,
phone
either
number?
way,
Mike, what's your phone number?
617-620-7577.
Okay.
I know it would be a very engaged audience there. Very
Yeah.
in tune with what's going on in town.
so I'm glad you pointed out that was particularly given, you know, what I reported on earlier. I think it's an oversight that I didn't have them on here already, but I'm glad you pointed it out. Okay, well, let me work with this. I'll send notes to everyone, including, you know, those that who've signed up, and I'll tell you what you've signed up for, and then I'll suggest assignments for the rest of the items. We're,
Did you say that you wanted to take the Emerson umbrella one? Because you had already been talking to them?
no, I got you down for it right here.
Okay, I'll do it if you want.
Yeah. We've got 10 minutes to go. Are there any other items or suggestions that anyone wants to bring up before we ask for public comments? We do have a couple of guests, or at least we had a couple of guests. I don't know if they're still with us. Looks like it's just us boys and girls at this point. So
Wow.
anything from anybody?
Karen, what's your phone number?
I'll shoot
Oh,
it.
here
to
we go. We do have a
Yeah.
guest. Sorry, didn't see you.
Yeah, I'm Andy Puckrick, but I just wanted to mention, I sent Brad an email about a publicity company that might be useful for your distribution. I know it does cost money, but they get in all the websites, all the search engines. So it might be worth something. Company is called evvnt.com, and they saturate the area. So for what it's worth.
Okay, I'll check with Brad on that.
Me too.
Oh, next.
Hi, it's Pamela Dritt in Concord Green.
Hi, Pamela.
Hi, is there anything about electrifying the school bus fleet and the backup generator of the batteries on the school buses and all of the wonderful things that can come from that, including healthier kids, higher IQ?
So we
Seems-
don't
Hello?
have anything explicitly planned for that.
Hmm.
No disagreement on the significance of those items, but nothing planned on that directly.
And one of the things that we got to do is stop putting money into fossil fuel infrastructure. And one of the biggest expenses is diesel school buses. So
At the festival itself, Pamela,
Yeah.
would you consider hosting a table on that?
I try not to volunteer to bell any cats because I'm not responsible. But
Well, a likely place that might be fitted in, and there's probably flexibility to talk about it at least, is with the festival that's on the 30th, if there could be a table to provide information about the school bus situation.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, Doug. And I don't think I mentioned this clearly enough when I was relating about our meeting with Laura. Basically, she's looking for whomever would like to table there. Again,
It's like
just kind of like,
it's like an ag fair. If there's a group
Yeah.
that wants to talk about that topic, come.
right,
And bring your table.
that's right. So actually, I mean, that's a great opening. It's kind of like, the public gets to customize what they want to talk about. And I mean, Laura and Mothers will have to approve, who's going to be there, but I think that's a great idea. And this, Pamela, topics like that are very, very focused topics. This is a good opportunity to talk to people about it.
thanks.
Thank you for a good comment. Any other topics from anybody before we wrap up? Okay, just a final notice. Our next meeting is a regularly scheduled meeting next Thursday night, March 17th. Before we adjourn, I just want to thank everyone for the preparation that went into tonight, especially Hanny. Hanny, that all the Cooler Concord stuff looks great. And also, I really appreciate all the volunteering to help with the different aspects. there's plenty to do.
Before
and
you
there'll be
wrap up,
more.
Jerry, I have one quick technical thing.
Okay, all right.
On the main landing page, we had the tentative schedule. I can take out as a tentative, right?
Correct.
Because this was in planning mode, so, okay,
Yeah.
fine, good.
Okay,
What's your date, Hanny, of going live with this?
Mid next week latest,
Okay,
right? So I want to have final edits Saturday. I'll do the edits then Sunday, and then I'll send out a link for everyone to be able to review it. And then we should have, everyone should respond to their respective page. I have a green light, it's fine, I'm fine with it. One thing I'm doing for everyone to make it easy, I'm putting a return to the Cooler Concord series page on each one of the
yeah,
events.
I noticed.
So you can always go back to the main landing page and then go to the next page, next event.
Yeah. I think some folks will want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's simpler as opposed to going back to start at the beginning of the chain again, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Before just one more comment. In the first email that we send out to all these groups, in the template kit, in the toolkit,
Yeah.
do you explain to them, is there a link to the Cooler Concord registration site?
Well, there is no single Cooler Concord registration site.
Well, the one that Haney just worked on, that will be the place where they're directed to go and sign up if they want to.
Yeah. Yes, there'll be a link in that.
Okay.
It'll be to the sustainability series landing page. But my point was that page doesn't have any registration ability on it. The individual events do.
Right.
Amanda, you have the right URL for that QR code, right?
Yeah, it goes to the events page.
Okay. Oh, the events page? The
Yeah,
Cooler Concord
because-
events page?
Yeah, and I did that purposefully because posters tend to last quite a while. And if people see these posters later on, they can always go to the events page and they will see the most recent event even after the series is over. And like the other one, like on certain, it says static page, like /events, and the other one had a number in it, like 286 something. And so if that were to break or change, then it would break the QR code. And so I kept it with just the events page because I knew that one wouldn't change.
Which is the events
okay.
page is which page now?
The one here, I'll show you quick. It's
Here, let me stop sharing.
I'll do that here. I understand your rationale. I mean, the ID of the page cannot break because then the whole site is broken and you can't get to anything. But so where are we here? Zoom. Share. So this is the events page, right? coolerconcord.org/events.
That's where the QR code goes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
As opposed to our side, it would go here, but that's okay. I mean, it doesn't matter. People will see it and they will able to.
Yep.
All right, let me backtrack a little bit, one more.
So with your media toolkit, are you going to have a link? I guess the QR code is going to be in the kit.
QR code is the event, and then the link is right underneath there.
Right.
And it goes to the events page.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, good.
Okay. Anything else?
Nice job, Haney. Good work.
All right.
Motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
You move? Okay. Second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. We are adjourned as of 9 PM exactly.
Karen,
Thank
what
you
is
all
your
so much.
phone- what's your phone number?
I sent it to you in an email, Doug.
Okay.
Michael, you had something to say?
I was saying goodbye.
Oh, okay. Yeah, raising your hand. Okay. Good night, everybody.
All right, good night.
Good night.
All done.